New on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Times of old, in times of new, there's a guide to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, and you will.
Hello and welcome, all you beautiful people, to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon.
You, man. I've done that before.
I'm glad you didn't plug in there because I was waiting for dramatic. There was a test and you passed.
All right. Good.
Great. That's awesome. My name is Cameron Fath, and with me, as always, the beautiful man in front of me,
Israel Wright. It's good to see you, folks. Former Green Beret, and we are
I'm a former Army Ranger, just by the way.
I thought I wasn't paying attention to you. I only like listening to myself talk.
Yeah.
We didn't do it last time. Actually.
No, we didn't.
If you don't know who we are by now, come on. Where have you been?
Where have you been?
Have you been in the multiverse?
But I'm glad, in the multiverse, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in the multiverse we're like superheroes and stuff.
Or super villains.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Or we're homeless.
Or we're homeless superheroes.
We're bums. We're nobodies.
We're nobodies.
Still nobodies. We're still nobodies. But it's okay. One day we'll be someone.
Someday we're listening to this 10 years from now and we're like, remember when we said we were nobodies and then we took over the
and
internet?
Nothing's changed.
And nothing's changed.
You got you got $5 I can borrow.
We got our same loyal following, and they're just waiting for us to pop for like 10 years.
Exactly. We still don't have a Patreon because we've been talking about it. And no website.
No website. Yep.
Yeah, we're still working on it. All right. Well, welcome. We're glad you guys are here with us. Today we have a great episode.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. They're all
Israel's
great
really
episodes.
excited about this. I'm a little nervous.
Nervous? Huh?
I feel like you're going to lead this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I came up with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think this was actually a suggestion, I think, actually.
It was a suggestion.
Yes.
Thank you.
Austin Kaunacki suggested this. I forget if it was an Instagram or a YouTube comment, but he's like, hey, why don't you do an episode about bases, layers, and hideouts? I'm like, that's so cool, man.
It is a good idea because guess what? How many soldiers do you know live at home? Well, some of them do. But most of them live on a base.
That's right.
Everybody operates off of a military
You gotta have a base. You got a base of operations.
You know what I thought? Like, I was driving to Huntington Beach the other day, and like I passed by the Navy base, and there's such a mysterious like thing that surrounds just a military base.
Yeah.
If you're not in the military, like, and you're not allowed on, there's like this
What are they
mystique.
doing there?
Yeah, they're like, what are they doing in there?
Yeah.
There's like even I've been on a lot of bases, and even looking at the Navy base, I'm like, what's going on in there?
What do you do?
What are you guys doing?
What secret high dollar equipment?
Yeah, I was like, what's sitting in there?
Do you have like an underground lair?
Yeah, I don't know. Even the military, it's weird. I can't imagine what it is to like the civilian that drives by and they're like, what is going on in there? Like, there's some secret stuff.
And you know what it is most of the time? Like
nothing. There's nothing.
It's just so boring.
It's so boring.
Nothing happens
Nothing's
there.
literally going on in
It's
there.
not even, what you guys don't realize, and our, hey, American military is the mightiest fighting force on the face of the planet.
If you don't think so, fight me!
So much fraud, waste, and abuse. Like, there are bases and portions of bases that are just, like, abandoned. And, and because the person that was supposed to figure out what to do with that new piece or that old piece of land and those old buildings, like, maybe they retired or they changed positions and then it just got forgotten.
Yeah,
Stuff will lay
condemned.
and waste for decades and years. And you're like, was somebody supposed to do something with that? Are we supposed to do something with this 100,000 acres that we have out in the middle of Alabama? They're like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know what to do with it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. keep pumping money into Richmond.
Yeah, just keep upping our budgets. You know,
Exactly. But yeah, dude, this one's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to all the things you're gonna talk about and all the side comments that I'm gonna contribute.
So, folks, this one is all about bases, layers, and hideouts. It's all about that base, Megan Trainor. And yeah, think about movies, video games, television, all of the places where your heroes and then also villains tend to hide out. And wouldn't it be cool, or maybe not cool, to have a place like that? And we're going to start off with one of the main ones, and that is the Batcave.
The Batcave?
Yes.
Which Batcave is your favorite?
Oh,
out
which
of all
incarnation of it?
Incarnation of it, yeah.
The one that I'm thinking of that I'm like most recently familiar with is the Arkham series of video games.
Oh, the video game Batcave?
And more specifically, the one that's featured, I think, in Arkham Knight. Because like in Arkham Asylum, which is the first in that series, there's like a mini Batcave in Arkham Asylum Island, like that you can go into. And then in Arkham City, I don't think you have like a lair, but you get airdropped stuff. Like the Batwing flies by and it'll drop your new piece of equipment or upgrade it. And then Arkham Origins, I never finished that one, but I don't know if you ever go to the Batcave. But Arkham Knight is the one where you go to you have like the clock tower, and then I think you actually can go to Arkham to the Batcave. It's where all Batman stuff is, man. Lego Batman, the Batcave is like ginormous. Like he's got all his like collection of like various criminal like pieces of technology, and Pewter plays like his favorite music and roasts up his lobster thermidor, you know.
I will say, I'm sorry, did I just cut you off?
Dude, cut me off because I could just keep going, man.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell you to stop because do you know what my favorite one is?
What's that?
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond?
Batman Beyond.
Oh, I love Batman Beyond.
I think it was such a good twist how Bruce Wayne is like this old, decrepit man. He's just like, get off my lawn, you kids!
And in the pilot, he like almost kills somebody. Because like he uses power armor because he's old, you know?
Yeah.
And he gets so enraged that he almost kills some dude, and he's like, oh, I gotta retire.
He's like, I gotta stop doing this.
I thought that was such a great take on it.
I think it was.
And I love the opening of it, the music and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good version of it. Like, not a lot of people remember the Batman Beyond. And it came out when I was a kiddo, so it's like part of my childhood.
Yep.
But like the suit with the black and red versus just the all black.
Yep.
And like the gray, I think was super awesome. And it was kind of like Batman or Bruce Wayne was taking him underneath his wing.
Yep.
But I think that suit was awesome because he has like all the regular suits. I also like the Batcave if I had to runner up from what's the one with where there's Batman, Batwoman, and then Robin.
So like Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin.
Like the Joel Schumacher, like bright colors and nipples?
Yeah, that one is cool. Yeah, where they put nipples just because I like how they had all the bat suits that you could just go.
Everyone just has nipples.
Everyone has nipples. That's cool.
Except for Batwoman. They really discriminated against her.
Yeah, they really
why not give
robbed her
nipples?
of nipples.
Yeah, why not make that accurate?
If someone has nipples, it's definitely her.
Come on, equality now, folks.
Yeah, equality now. But that would be my second one, just because it's like a really cartoony one. Even though it's like the worst out of all the movies, I think that one has like the most humorous Batcave.
Yeah. Yeah, I like there's the Arkham series, and then the Christopher Nolan ones. Obviously, they stand alone because they go for like the realism.
Yeah, and the Batcave isn't even a cave; it ends up being this like really white room. Did you know?
Oh yeah, well yeah, because he has to move.
He moves.
In the first one, it gets
because
like
it gets
destroyed.
Burned down. Yeah,
and then he's just in like a
shipping container,
like underground. It's like a big room. That's it. You know,
it's like how do you get out of there? Because he had to park his the pond,
the Rumbler,
the Rumbler,
the Tumbler,
that big.
I love how we
does it come in black? That one.
We talked about this so many times. I still can't remember.
I still can't remember. There's what haven't we talked about on this podcast? But yeah, man, the Batcave's cool.
Batcave's so cool. All his gadgets, all his suits, all displayed out. There's even some that like I forget if it was in the Arkham series, but like it's even he has like old stuff that's like displayed, or like in the Justice League, he has one of his old suits that was like defaced by Joker.
Oh, really?
You know, kind of an allusion to like the Killing Joke when like Robin got hurt, or like
it's a constant reminder.
Yeah, it's a constant reminder of his failure. You know.
Yeah,
I think that was Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman.
One thing, sorry, we're kind of going off a tangent, even though this is about bases. But one thing that I never understood with the Joker is the Joker really doesn't have any powers, does he?
No, he's just...
How is he such a threat.
Well, the thing with the Joker is it's kind of like that class. This is my opinion. I think it's the classic dichotomy between the hero and the villain. The villain has to be like the polar opposite of the hero, and he has to challenge him like in ways that are completely like against and contradictory to like his nature. Right?
Isn't the whole laughing joke that they're both the same?
The killing joke,
Like they need each other.
Yeah, there's that kind of like that relationship. It's like in even in the Christopher Nolan ones, he's like, I feel like we're destined to do this forever, you know?
Yeah.
Because like the Joker is like this like no holds barred agent of chaos. Like he'll go after the most vulnerable spots of Batman. And Batman has a code, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has to try to like live by this code, unless you're Ben Affleck Batman, then you can just kill people left and right.
People left and right, yeah.
But yeah,
snipe them.
Yeah, and then that's supposed to be the thing is like the Batman is like a controlled, very methodical, he's a detective and stuff like that, and the Joker is this wild flame that just burns everything down, and so they're like supposed to be like two sides of the same coin kind of thing, or opposites,
Interesting.
and that's why he's kind of this iconic villain,
And because that's why he doesn't kill him. It's because he needs him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's purposeless.
Yeah, there's like the Killing Joke animated movie, I think on Netflix, kind of explores that a little bit, and at the end they both end up like laughing together. It's really kind of a weird ending, but it's kind of cool, I guess.
Anyways, back on the thread. Back to the thread.
We jumped back onto the thread.
We jumped back onto the thread. Next one, Xavier School of Gifted Youngsters, X-Men.
X-Men.
Would you want to go here?
Absolutely, because if
Really?
I'm going here, it means I have superpowers.
I wouldn't want to be there.
You wouldn't want to be there?
Why? It's a
'Cause,
boarding
man,
school,
you
man.
need
I need to be free.
guidance.
I don't
You get an
need guidance. I would be
education. You'd
Wolverine.
You're a villain. You're going to
Yeah,
just be a villain.
I would be.
Let's just admit it.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen I like how the Deadpool, they always, like Deadpool 2 with the little chubby kid that has the flames.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if he goes to that school, like everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
Not everyone can qualify to go to Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters.
Exactly.
But I love how, I think, what is it, the first or second one where he's like, he goes to the school and there's only one person there. He's like, oh, it's amazing how there's like nobody else at this school for it.
And they open the door.
Yeah.
And everybody's from like the old X-Men.
Oh, they open that one thing?
Yeah, and they just like close the door.
Yeah, and he goes,
yeah.
oh, that was awesome.
It was.
I love that they did
They're
that.
like, well, we don't have it in the budget to get like.
I thought Deadpool was going to be in Doctor Strange.
I thought so too.
I wonder how they're going to incorporate him because he's kind of a loose cannon.
I don't think that he would have fucked up he would have lost the thread.
Yeah, he would have lost the thread. He
Yeah.
is the cinematic equivalent of losing the thread.
I saw something on the Google Web the other day, but it's not even worth mentioning because I don't even remember what in context to. But it had Deadpool in it.
Just
and it had
something
like
random with Deadpool.
Super random. Like super random.
You guys let us know if you know what he's talking about. Something super random with Deadpool on the internet. You let
Upcoming,
us know.
yeah.
Send us a
Alleged.
link. Oh, upcoming?
Yeah.
Oh, rumors and hearsay. Let us know.
Rumors
let
and
us know,
hearsay.
Elliot.
That's good.
I know you look at those rumors, Elliot.
I know, probably.
Yeah, so they've got the whole underground, like he's got his
mind
I almost said placebo, Cerebro, his mind thing, and then they've got the stealth jet.
I'm not a big X-Men like nerd, man.
Oh, you don't know about
so
the
what
X-Men?
is Xavier's exact? What does he do?
Professor Charles Xavier?
Yeah,
Professor
why is
X?
he like? Yeah, what is his relevance? Why can't you just like kick him out of his wheelchair?
Oh, super psychic.
He's super
Like
psychic.
he could like make you have a brain aneurysm. Like
Oh,
on the
really?
spot. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Have you seen the original X-Men
Yeah,
movies?
of course. I've seen them all, but I just failed to understand why he's so.
Yeah,
like,
just super psychic. Like, in fact, that's kind of the main thing of number 2 is the bad guy Stryker like has an alternate Cerebro. Like normally he can like seek out and find mutants and stuff like that, and he has it switched so that Professor X is going to kill psychically every single mutant on the planet. So he's that powerful. Well, with the help of Cerebro, it amplifies his abilities. But like in the beginning of the second X-Men United, like they're at this museum and there's a fight that starts and he just freezes everybody's minds. Everybody just stops. The whole area.
Oh,
and
I
they have
gotta
a
rewatch
conversation
these,
and then
man.
they leave. So that's Professor X. He's a super powerful psychic. That's his thing.
Interesting.
Not very powerful apparently in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah, it just gets destroyed.
He just gets killed. He just goes into her mind and then she snaps his neck.
Spoilers!
So, spoilers, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But that was
John Krasinski's in it. Spoiler.
Yeah, John Krasinski
is the new
Black Bolt just dies instantly. And,
Yeah,
it's
literally.
the cartoon version, I think, of Professor X because he has the yellow
chair.
floating chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does the whole pointing thing, which I guess is something he does in the cartoon.
I don't know.
Anyway, next thing.
Next thing.
You pick one, man. Which one of these is most
Sorry, going
familiar
down.
to you?
Did you like Doctor Strange? I didn't.
Doctor Strange.
I did not think it was that good.
I fall on the side of liking it more than disliking it.
Yeah, it was whatever. It wasn't the best Marvel movie, but it wasn't the worst.
I mean, the thing that I just can't get out of my head is just how brutal those deaths were. Like when he just wipes them out, like Black Bolt, Professor X.
Oh
He
yeah, Wanda just
dude. Major spoilers, folks. Major spoilers if you haven't seen it. He just like skip ahead like a couple minutes, but like Captain Carter, he just slices her in half and like makes a statue fall on Captain Marvel, And it's just like, oh, he just like killed everybody, or she just like killed everybody brutally.
Oh yeah,
and,
Wanda. They're trying to say that she's like
she
the
lost
most.
her fake kids, and it's kind of just
She just
like
wants
I
to
understand
have
what she's
children.
with have kids, and then she brutally kills so many people in order to get
Yeah,
what
just
she
to get
wants.
kids.
Yeah, she deserves to have
Why don't you
a
just
temple
adopt?
dropped on her head.
Why don't you just go
know?
adopt some children?
Go adopt some kids. Go to a dimension. That's what everybody says. Like, go to a dimension where she has died and her kids are childless, and just raise those kids.
Yeah, or literally go to an orphanage and get some babies.
Yeah, or like
literally
actually like get
adopt.
pregnant.
Just like sleep around. It's just like
whoa. Wanda, do not.
you want them
I
that
cannot
bad. You don't
condone
have.
those
You don't have to
actions.
bounce to another multi. You are a woman. You can literally
to
make
send
them.
monsters to go America. Just
Yeah.
ask her. Jeez.
Sorry, get back on the thread. We gotta get back on the thread. Okay, next building.
Buildings,
Bases,
layers, hideouts.
bases.
The next
You go.
one.
I said the last one.
Let's skip down to the Fortress of Solitude, another classic hideout for Superman. I love the classic, the 1980s Christopher Reeve Superman, where he throws the crystal into the ice, like in Antarctica. He walks out there, and it just boils and bubbles up, and it creates this crystal palace, basically, where he can just go and watch old recordings of his dad, learn about being Superman. It's a Fortress of Solitude. It's
Where do you use the bathroom?
Anywhere he wants. It's a Fortress of Solitude. Nobody's allowed in there. So.
But there's there plumbing.
His super poops and super peas.
Yeah, Superman does not poop just like Kim Jong-un.
Maybe it's like super fat fertilizer. Maybe he could make plants grow.
Maybe he
and stuff with that
poops
stuff.
gold.
Yeah.
Maybe he poops
He
diamonds.
is an alien, so
alien.
he probably has
The Superman fan question: does Superman pee and poop?
They've never really had. It's funny they've never really had. Like,
Has anybody gone in the Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the movies and all that kind of stuff, people get in there all the time. So it's more of a it's like a badly protected Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
I think it's Superman Returns, which is the one that Bryan Singer did. Like they just Lex Luthor and his minions, they just walk in.
Yeah.
Like he's not there. They just walk in. And Man of Steel.
Didn't even see him on the ring, huh?
Yeah.
No ring.
Ring.com. Ring.com sponsor our podcast.
Yeah, ring.
But he doesn't have his Fortress of Solitude. It's just he finds his old ship, the ship that he came in on. Yeah.
Right.
And the ship you came in on. Actually, wait a minute. He gets sent away, but it's not like, does he get sent in that ship? Yeah, I forget. Anyway, tell us if he gets sent in a little pod in Man of Steel or if it's an actual ship. Because he finds the ship in Antarctica and then he flies away with it. But then, did he come in that ship? It doesn't matter. I don't care. I do care. Tell me.
Was it his ship or a sock?
Ship. Oh,
Oh.
man.
Okay, moving on. What is Krakoa?
Krakoa is
What is
something-
Krakoa?
I've only did a little bit of research. It's actually in the comic book lore.
Oh,
It's
no.
basically a nation for the mutants to be at. It's an island.
Yeah.
And it has like kind of mutant mystical powers and stuff. It's almost
Uh-huh.
like, I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to talk about an episode of Ray Bradbury Theater called Here There Be Tigers. We can talk
What?
about that in a second. Actually, let's talk about them both at the same time. So Krakoa.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
It's a living island, right? So it has like a consciousness, and then there's
like from
these...
Moana.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Did Moana live on a living island?
I mean, the island was
That she was
alive.
on an island.
Yeah,
Oh, was
she
it?
was alive. One of the islands was alive.
Okay.
Everything's alive technically.
Okay. Well, I guess depending on how you define being alive, right? How do you define life, which is something we can't talk about because it's not that kind of podcast. But basically, it's their homeland. It's like they get their own nation now, right? Because mutants are persecuted all around the world in the X-Men kind of lore and universe. So this one, they have their own kind of nation state. And then I was hearing somebody talk about this the other day, just real quick. But like they have mutants that can basically, if they combine their powers, they can create these like cocoons, and they can basically resurrect anybody, which kind of undoes the whole like drama of having a character die. Like it's like, oh, they'll just go to Krakoa and resurrect them again. So anyway,
That's ridiculous.
but I wanted to put that in there because I wanted to kind of get like the breadth of like big, huge bases before we start talking about like actual other guns and stuff. So, but anyway, how that relates to this Ray Bradbury Theater episode. There's Ray Bradbury Theater, another anthology series that like in the vein of Twilight Zone or Outer Limits and stuff like that. Yeah, Here There Be Tigers, and spell tigers with a Y. But it's basically about a bunch of astronauts who are flying around the universe looking for planets with resources because Earth has been drained of all its resources. The classic trope: we've killed the Earth, and now we need to expand into the universe to kill other planets for their resources. So there's kind of the hard-nosed business guy, and then there's the kind of hopeful dreamer astronaut, and the crew's all on there. They land, and it's like this paradise, and it's like everything's beautiful, and they kind of go to this stream, and they're talking, and they're like, man, I wish we could. Oh, I'd love some fish right about now. And then all of a sudden, the stream boils up, and cooked fish come out, and they're like, wait, what's going on here? It's almost like this planet is giving us what we want. And there's the guy he's like, oh, look at this breeze. I remember when I was a kid, I used to run, and don't you just wish you could fly? And he runs and he jumps, and he actually flies around. And they're like, what is this planet? What's going on right now? And the guy surmises listen, it's almost like, what good is having all the treasure in the world if there's no one to share it with? So he's reasons out that this planet's alive and it's giving us what we desire. But then the kind of more businessman, kind of capitalistic, mineral dude, he's like, no, we got to mine this. And he starts sets up a mining machine. It drills into the earth, and the earth starts shaking, and a lightning strike blows up the machine. They're like, oh, we got to get out of here. This thing's dangerous. And so they all start running back to the ship, and there's earthquakes and stuff. And then the one guy, the dreamer, he's like, no, I'm staying. And he runs away. And they're like, we got to get out of here. And they take off, and they say, this planet's dangerous. We're going to designate this as you can't go there. And so he walks away. And the last thing you see is the planet manifests this beautiful woman for him to kind of repopulate the earth so they could continue giving him all the great things, So that's kind of when I saw Living Island, Krakoa, I was like, oh, that made a random memory pop up in my brain, and I have to talk about it on my podcast.
I was like, that makes no sense. Off the thread, back on the
wait,
thread.
Then I made it the thread.
Okay, everybody knows that I hate Lord of the Rings. So let's talk about Helm's Deep.
Helm's Mo friggin' Deep, baby.
Helm's Deep. That was one solid fortress. These walls have not been broken for a long time.
But
one chink in the chain.
One chink in the chain.
One chink in the chain. Which honestly, how when Aragorn falls off he falls off the cliff and he magically finds a horse and he's riding back to Helm's Deep half alive, and he basically comes across the army. Yeah. They march a long time, and then you have to realize that they had to carry the bomb the entire way. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and that's a very it took at least two regular Urukais to carry, and they started stacking them all up at the They're like, yeah, there's one chink in the chain for that wall. Yeah. But that's a cool base. But you have to think about for all my history buffs out there, ye old medieval there's back to poop. There is poop, sewage. Baby. There's no sewage and plumbing. No back drainage. There, no drainage. What a time to be alive.
But you know what? I feel like Helm's Deep gets a bad rap because they say it's a chink in the chain, that drainage pipe. Yeah. But it was a giant bomb. It was a giant the chink in the chain could have been the front door because it was made of wood, Yeah, I mean, could have blown up anything, man. Exactly. Give the humans a little bit of credit,
Yeah, no, that was a solidly built. Is that a word? That was a solid built wall.
Solidly built.
Built. That's a word? Okay, but if it's not, it is now.
You let it we just made up. But all words are made up.
Blow up. I mean, technically, the front gate. Is totally
the chink
made of wood,
the chain and stuff. So,
but I mean, still, what an epic scene!
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's an awesome. That's in the twin, the two towers.
Two towers. Yeah,
Two Towers. Second one. The Twin Towers. My bad. Wrong. But yeah, I love. That's actually my favorite one out of all of the three movies.
The second one,
Two Towers. Yeah,
I really like that one too. I don't know. nothing can take the place of that first one. And seeing the fellowship together, and then honestly, what is it? Boromir's death.
That's epic. Yeah.
That will always stay with me. But yeah, the Two Towers stands on its own. The number 3, I guess, It has some cool parts to it. Obviously, it's good. It won freaking Best Picture, but not that means anything anymore. But yeah, you're right. The second one has like this cool. It's very like Celtic, almost like Nordic, as a Nordic feel, because it very much focuses on humanity or the human side of it. You know, the man.
And then the elves come. Yeah, and it's like rebridging the relationship between all the races.
Even that guy dying, I got a little
he dies. Like, alongside me. He's like, I always say, the third one is the best, but the second one is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just because the third one is the best, it won all the awards. It's like has the best end of the storyline, and like the CGI is the best. It's like it's just the best. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is the best one, and the extended version has like the best cutscenes in it. And
yeah, I love the extended versions of those movies.
Yeah, have you ever done the challenge where you watch all three extended versions?
All three of them in a row, man. Takes all day. We did it actually. I've done it twice. I did it once with my friend Bay, and then Amy and I did it. Was it just us, or was it anybody else show up? Yeah, we just did it. Yeah, extended.
August 2020.
August 2020.
Wow,
there you go.
Put that on a
pandemic.
On a plaque.
That's some pandemic stuff. When you got nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's over 12 hours because the extended version. Yeah, because the regular last one is like 3.5, I think.
Yeah,
and then the extended's over 4 hours.
It's 11.2 hours.
Oh,
11.2 hours. Okay. That's there like, you know, put that, you know how people like drive around with the marathon sticker that says like 13.1 and like 26.2 on like this little circle? Just put 11.2.
11.2. That'll be the Lord of the Rings
and
symbol.
Put a little ring around it. Put that. I'm fucking, nobody do that. I'm doing that. Okay. Well,
what else?
Your pick.
Let's talk about the Death Star, man.
The Death Star.
We can talk about two at the same time because it's the same movie, but actually, you know what? We'll talk about two at the same time from two different movies. Death Star and Star Killer Base, which is basically a bigger Death Star. You know? The first one,
I'm not familiar with Star Killer Base.
That's the Force Awakens. It's the planet-sized beam when they go and attack. You know, it's
the Star Wars that don't count.
Yeah, the ones that don't count. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically just a bigger Death Star.
I see.
You know what I like about the Death Star? Obviously, it's this super weapon in the beginning. The first movie, you know, they got to blow up the super weapon, and there's the little exhaust port. But then movies like Rogue One, and then even series like, you know, I think the Clone Wars, they talk about it a little bit, or they at least lead up to it. It gets a little more developed. Like Rogue One was super cool. Like you find out, like, you know, her father was the architect of it, and he's the one that gives
I'm going to give you these secret plans.
Many Bothans. I don't know what the Bothans are, but yeah, it's super cool that they kind of fill it out. But yeah, the Death Star, man, super iconic. Yeah. You know, I had friends on that Death Star, lived throughout. It's in pop culture. It's in the zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
Star Killer. You know,
I wonder if just going into my brain.
Let's go into your brain. I want to go. Let's go in there, man.
It's kind of scary.
I'm gonna bring a flashlight,
but
maybe a machete to cut through all the weeds.
Yep. But you got it. Like, was the Death Star? Was it like planned like a military base? Did they have like a PX on the Death Star?
Yeah. Like,
did it have how many gyms? How many gyms were on the Death Star?
How many gyms? Yeah, and one bathroom, maybe.
Were they shared?
Yeah, were they shared? Yeah,
like. These are the questions I want to know. Because you just see like the command level. It's huge.
Yeah. There's got to be a diagram out there where somebody did all the levels of the Death Star.
Yeah, and like each level had like a gym, a PX, like something. I don't know, like where did the stormtroopers sleep? Like what did their barracks look like? You know?
I mean they kind of touch on that a little bit in the Kylo Ren Undercover Boss videos they do for SNL. You ever seen
really?
Those?
No, I've not seen
those. Kylo Ren, Adam Driver does a skit, you know, when he hosts where he's Kylo Ren and he goes undercover boss as as
a stormtrooper
Kyle or whatever. And he like tries to see what the stormtroopers think about him behind his back. You know?
That's hilarious. Yeah,
and he's like super insecure about it.
So Kylo Ren is pretty good Sith guy, huh?
Yeah. He's like,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's like, some guy's like, I think the guy's a joke, and he like choke force throws him and stuff like that. And then
I respect him, but he signs my paycheck. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Death Star, man. And, I was gonna mention the Yavin base, which I guess is technically called the Masasi Temple. My nerdy friends told me that actually has a name. But the Yavin base, the one that they were about to get blown up, you know, in A New Hope, before Luke Skywalker shot his shot down the tube and made the big thing.
Is this the snow base?
No, that's Hoth. That's Hoth base. Yeah, that's Echo base on Hoth. Which we can also talk about too if you want to talk about. That portion of like Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorite sequences from start to finish. Basically, the first half of the movie, or the first quarter of the movie. Yeah. I love that, the snow base and like.
You got to watch out for Yetis.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What's that one video? Do you remember you used to play that one video game at like Chuck E. Cheese that was Star Wars, and like you went through that Echo base and it was being overrun, and there was just a bunch of Sasquatches in it?
Are you talking about Shadows of the Empire?
It might be.
Shadows of the Empire was for, I think, like N64, and you were playing.
Was it?
Yeah, you're playing.
I just remember some arcade game that was like Star Wars themed.
Man, I know there have been a couple Star Wars themed arcade games, but the one you're thinking of, I think, is probably a little bit newer, more like a Dave and Buster's, like a bigger one.
Yeah. They had like the whole pistol like on cords and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
I never played that one, but there's the Shadows of the Empire video game based on the novel too, where you're not Han Solo, you're like a Han Solo light guy. I forget what his name is. Shadows of the Empire.
See, now I'm in it. I'm like looking for it right now.
What's that character's name? Shadows of the Empire. Thrill as we look things up on our podcast.
Yes. Quick, check your tire pressure in your car while we Google things.
Dash Rendar. You've already said it 10 times. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a little behind. Dash Rendar, and he's like basically like another scoundrel version of like Han Solo. But the novel is actually pretty good. It's one of the few. Actually, maybe the only Star Wars novel I've ever read, but I know there's a lot of good ones out there. But anyway, Hoth Base, Echo Base. There's even like do you guys know about the lost scene where C-3PO and Solo and Leia are running through the tunnels, they're trying to get away, and C-3PO sees like a thing, it's a little sign thing, it's like danger, like Yetis behind here, and like he pulls the danger Yeti sign off, and then the stormtroopers come up and they go into that place not knowing, and there's a giant Yeti that like attacks them and stuff. It's an actual scene that exists,
really,
that like never made it from the cutting room floor.
That's dumb. That's a cool scene.
Yeah, who knows? There's a lot of scenes out there in Star Wars. If you look them up, you're like, I can see why this shouldn't be in the movie. It's kind of dumb because the editing makes that, because the monster's just a dude in a costume or whatever, a puppet, and like the editing makes him seem like that's one of the few additions in the special edition that I actually liked, because they made that guy more threatening in the beginning when Luke gets attacked, and he cuts off his arm and you can actually see the full thing. But other than that, if you don't edit it just right, it looks kind of dumb.
It looks kind of stupid. But cool, man. That's cool. I didn't know that was called Echo Base.
Echo Base on Hoth, and then the Masasi Temple on.
Just adding to my useless knowledge in my brain.
Absolutely. We're just filling it up. You only have so much space, man.
I know. No, you can fit a lot in your brain.
Yeah,
a lot.
I don't even think we use all of our brain power.
No. I was when I graduated school, because I did that. And the way I talk really proves it. But damn, I forgot this statistic. It was like you can have a thought every 10 seconds for the rest of your life, and you'll still utilize like 1% of your brain capacity.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
I know, it's crazy.
So if you're like, oh, it's too much for my brain to handle, fuck you, you're being weak.
Yeah, that's right. You're giving up. Don't give up on your brain. Give up.
But
this is your brain on no hope.
No hope. But we've talked about some like superhero bases. We've talked about some movie bases. What about, I know you want to talk about some video game bases.
Video game bases, absolutely, man. I'm all about.
What about games that are literally just bases?
Well, I mean, the whole like base building and resource management thing.
Let's talk about StarCraft.
StarCraft?
You want to talk about the Blizzard games? Let's talk about WoW 3, StarCraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft.
You
or
build
just Warcraft,
the base. Yeah, Warcraft.
Base building, resource management.
Yeah, it's resource management. That is your base, and you can expand your bases.
It's all about, that's what the game is you guys utilizing your bases and attacking each other with your units.
Such a frustrating game. Oh my God. Especially when you get rushed. I told you, I used to play a lot of StarCraft. Remember when I was like, StarCraft 3 is my favorite, and you're like, oh yeah, StarCraft 3. I remember.
You remember the hurt and pain of your life.
I remember the embarrassment that I felt. Yeah. But no, that was like the first game that really like, actually no, Warcraft 3 was the first game that I started playing religiously at the teen center. I remember, I told you I used to skip out on breakdancing lessons to go play Warcraft 3.
As you should.
Yeah, as you should. But yeah, no, those games are so like strategy driven. But they're all about bases.
Yep. All about that base. Yeah, no, it's other things that have like they play a major element, things like the XCOM series,
Age of Empires,
Ark Survival Evolved, Subnautica, Fallout 4. Fallout 4 you have base building, but and then There's another one that's close to my heart. It's a PlayStation 1 game called Suikoden, or Suikoden, depending on how you pronounce it. But it's an RPG, but you have a base that you can manage and build up in the midst of the game. So you go out, have adventures, come back to your base. And in the game, there are 108 different companions that you can have in your base. And the part of the challenge of the game is you go and you find these people and they add to the story. And then as you get more companions, your base changes. Like it starts off at this like rocky tower, and then by the end of the game, it's like this beautiful carved out, cool looking tower. And you go to each section, and before it's just like caves, but then as you get more and more companions, it gets carved out. People have little shops, stalls, and little chemistry sets and all that kind of stuff, and training areas. So it's like a cool game in that part of the challenge of the game is going around and finding all the 108 different companions. And this was a PS1 game back in the day. That was a cool conceit.
What about you can have your own base in Tarkov, right? Like your own hideout?
Yeah, you do. You have a hideout. Yeah, I never got into Tarkov enough.
Me neither.
I
want to
really build that place because it starts off as like a hovel.
It's like
hut. A homeless person. Yeah. You know? But then like you build it up, you build lights, and you get all the resources. And
you build a
like
range in there and everything.
Range, yeah.
I want to get into Tarkov. I got to get a system, dude.
Yeah, do you have?
I don't have
play games off of this?
I
should get like a gaming PC.
I need to get either a PC, but then I remember when I was on your Twitch stream, they're like, you got to pay like $3,000 for like a good one, and I was like, I
think not for a PC, maybe on the higher end, but for a laptop that's decent for gaming and streaming, you can totally make that happen for $1,000.
Maybe
$1,500.
Amy says $1,500.
I paid $1,500 for the laptop Izzy has.
Yeah, Amy games with this. It's totally decent. It has a camera, but you can buy an extra camera if you want to. So you can make it happen, man. You just got to be resourceful.
I got to do it. Yeah, I want to start gaming more. That's for sure. Because speaking of bases, dude, Sydney. For those of you that don't know, Sydney is the name of my fiance. Sydney, all she does is play Animal Crossing. Have you played Animal Crossing? On the
Switch, right?
On the Switch.
Dude. Wait, that's a base game.
That is a base. That's why I bring it up. That is 100% a base game, and she's like 100% in it. She is like, I'm part of this like Facebook group for Animal Crossing, and she posted her island and had like, it went viral.
What?
Like she has like a 5-star island, whatever that means. My gosh. She spends hours on it. Like it's really nice. I'll be honest.
And she's got that brain. She's a brainiac.
Yeah, she's a brainiac.
So she probably is really super organized.
Oh, super. Yeah, her island's beautiful. And like people like freak out when they come to her island. But yeah, Animal Crossing. I don't get the, I get bored. I get bored of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I played a game called, it was like an indie game
but didn't you
called Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I was about to say you used to stream.
I used to stream it on Fridays.
It's the same shit, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's got like more of a 16-bit graphics kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon game.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's super fun just to kind of like build up. You got to have a vision though. That's one thing I realized when it comes to bases and stuff. You have to have a vision for what you want, and I just get so overwhelmed at the breadth of options that you have. Valheim is another one. I know that you guys are yelling at me for that one, but I am always assuming this. I'm assuming this like really antagonistic relationship between me and you guys because I'm just assuming that you guys know all this stuff and I don't.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I know you're yelling at me, so I need to stop that. I need to stop being.
Maybe you
negative.
should.
Yeah.
Think it keeps you on the right.
I mean,
I think it keeps you on the. I think it keeps you on your toes.
Keeps me on my toes. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe it's me versus you, folks.
Yeah, it is always it's you versus me. Yep. Who will win? I'll see you at the finish line.
Honorable mention to the Normandy. I know we've talked about it in ships, and we're trying to stay closer to like, I don't know, maybe immobile type bases, but I feel like I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't at least mention the Normandy, because that's where everybody hangs out at. It is your base. It's just a mobile base, you know. But now we're...
The Normandy on what?
The Normandy on Mass Effect.
Oh, Mass Effect. Okay.
Yeah, it's where Shepard
I have an honorable mention. Hogwarts.
Dude, totally Hogwarts.
Yeah, totally. And I like on the last one when they're literally doing base defense, and they're like, she's like, I've always wanted to do this. Professor McGonagall? How do you say this name, Amy? McGonagall, thank you. She's like, I've always wanted to do this. And she like summons all like the fucking gladiator rock guys who surprisingly get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
Oh, you haven't seen the last one?
I've seen part 1, but not part 2. I've never seen the end of the
Deathly Hallows part 2.
Yep, never go.
Yeah, Sydney and I, we binged all of them in a matter of like 3 days, 3 or 4 days, I think, like back to back to back to back to back. They're better than I remember.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're good.
Do they hold up?
They do hold up. I think so. My favorite one, let's see, which one would be my favorite one? Goblet of Fire is my favorite one.
Goblet of Fire. That's the one where what's his name dies.
Yeah,
right?
Robert Pattinson does.
Robert Pattinson does.
Yeah, that's a good one just because I like the character designs that goes in all the mythical beasts and shit.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's like you finally see Voldemort in like his final form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The physical specimen is Ray
you know
Fiennes.
that? Yeah, he plays a lot of random people. The actor that plays Voldemort.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't he like he's
around
Voldemort?
forever,
He is
freaking the serial killer in the Red Dragon, the Hannibal movie.
yeah,
Hannibal
and then
Red Dragon.
he's also the from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's Davy Jones, right?
No, that's Bill Nighy is.
I'm
David
completely dumb then.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's all right. He
Bill
also does
Nighy.
not have a good-looking nose, so I can see I get those two.
Damn, I got to go correct myself because I totally convinced Sydney that he plays all.
I'm not going to tell my Ray Fiennes story because I've told that Ray Fiennes story like a bunch of times. But
What story?
oh, no, I got to tell it again. I've told it like 17 times.
Have you? I
Ray
don't know.
Fiennes came into my gym, did a workout, he won. He's a physical specimen.
Oh yeah,
Much
yeah,
respect
yeah.
to Ray Fiennes.
Okay, I got you. And that's Ray Fiennes is the guy that plays
Voldemort.
Voldemort. I got you. Okay, now see,
Yep.
thanks for reminding me. Cool. Any more honorable mention, man?
Honestly,
I got a
Castle Wolfenstein,
Yeah, Castle Wolf.
Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Because Castlevania is the subject where
Castles.
it all takes place. You
It's
know?
all Castle.
Castlevania, Dr. Wily's Castle. These are all video game references. Ganon's Castle. An Ocarina of Time specifically, and then Breath of the Wild, where you go to the final battle, which is, I guess, technically Hyrule Castle, but Ganon.
Castle Grayskull?
Castle
I
Grayskull.
have the power.
Of Grace, the Technodrome from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the comic book and the cartoon, the camper
the
van
sewers.
from Breaking Bad. That's a base. If
That's
ever
a
I heard
base.
one.
The prison from Walking Dead.
Prison from Walking Dead. Yep.
Yeah.
Bunch of good ones. Yeah.
There's some good ones, man.
The Store from the Mist. These are the ones we couldn't get to today, but
Yeah, we're just reading them off real fast and in a hurry.
Yeah.
But
I feel like this could be a two-parter. We could do this again sometime.
But we do have a fan question.
Yeah, let's
But
do it.
before we answer the fan question, I have a question for the fans. What's your favorite base? If
what's
you
your
could pick
favorite
one
base?
base to spend your life at, where would you do it? Shoot us an email at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on the Instagram. Yeah. What bases would you want to get holed up on? Okay. Let's answer this fan question. Where does it come from?
This fan question comes from Taylor Nelson on Instagram. And maybe a new idea for a segment. I wanted to run this by you and actually have this on the show because this might actually be fun to do. It's almost like what is it? They did it on YouTube. I forget the channel, but they would do basically a versus like a
Deadliest
who would win.
Warrior.
Yeah, like a Deadliest Warrior pop culture style. But who would win in a fight? Captain Price from the Call of Duty series or Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I haven't played any Metal Gear Solids. My only exposure to Metal Gear Solid is what we've seen on Gameology, and it is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's a hard. Does Metal Gear Solid have any? He's got a bionic arm, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a bionic arm. Now it depends on who we're talking about because the footage that you've seen, the video game, that was not Solid Snake. That was
wasn't
actually
Solid
he actually ends up being a clone or like somebody that's not Big Boss who they end up brainwashing.
Oh yeah, you don't have to
Big
get
Boss.
into the weeds,
Yeah, anyway.
man.
So Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid like 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, and 4 basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's who we're talking about. But like he's former Green Beret. He's a super trooper, obviously, good at espionage and all that kind of stuff, sneaking around. That's kind of his specialty. He does get in some stand-up fights. He's versed in a bunch of different kinds of weapons, obviously, from, pistols to machine guns and then bazookas and
But then
rocket
you
launchers and
got
stuff. Captain
Price from the SAS, completely other side of the ocean.
Yep.
Probably the same background.
Yeah. I know that like people's first instinct might be Captain Price but we're not assuming that he's like the infinite Captain Price that has been reincarnated because Captain Price has been around for a long time.
I'll tell you, man. I already know who I'm going to pick.
Who?
Solid Snake.
Solid Snake?
Because guess what? We're fucking American.
No,
We're not going to
British is gonna
support,
win.
even though we're friends with the Brits, we're not going to support them beating an American. You hear me? Red, white, and blue.
That's so funny. Somebody's going to write in and tell us that like Solid Snake's like originally from Canada or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's actually on. He joined the special forces to get his citizenship.
I actually think I'm going to go with Solid Snake more so because I just think that the sneaking silent espionage tactics that he would use, because he could do a stand-up fight like Captain Price, but he also has that like kind of Black Opsy kind of like
we got
around.
it. Plus,
I know Captain Price has access to nods and stuff like that, but Solid Snake is a warrior he has been born and bred to survive in the most austere conditions, and just based off the stuff that you see him do in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 4, even when he has that kind of aging genetic disorder from being a clone of Big Boss, even then he's taking dudes out. What I mean? So,
I mean, it's also we got to set the ground rules. Is this a gunfight? Is this a knife fight?
Exactly.
Is this a fist fight? Right?
Yeah, it depends.
Because I mean, you got to look at Captain Price, and he does everything with a weapon.
Yeah,
there's a few times where even when he is hand to hand, it's with a knife.
Yeah.
So.
Or the axe, doesn't he take some dude out with
he's
the
like,
axe
it's
in the embassy
mainly
thing?
he like fucking balls him up and then stabs him to death.
Yeah.
But
we can assume that Captain Price has
as we can assume
training, breadth of weapons, but we can also assume the same thing about Solid Snake.
Yeah, and Captain Price isn't a character in Super Smash Bros. And Snake is.
You're right. And
So
we
he's
know
got
Super
hand-to-hand.
Smash Bros. We know that Solid Snake has experience fighting against beings from other dimensions.
Exactly. So my answer is Solid Snake.
I'm going to say Solid Snake for this one, folks. Let us know what you would decide, who you would have,
and your
win this
reasoning,
fight, and why. Yeah,
and I'm sure
definitely
your
why.
reasoning is absolutely bonkers.
Not emotional. Don't get emotional, folks. Okay?
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. We love Captain Price, but who would realistic? You think about it. Be scientific, all right? Don't get those alternate facts in there, okay?
Yeah, let's go. Be concrete.
And with that, folks, that's the end of this episode.
Yeah, we don't have a game for this one.
Yeah, no game, folks.
That kind of that fan question was kind of a game.
Wait, let me. I got a game. You
got a game? Just made it up?
Yep, I'm just gonna make it up just now. So, looking at the list, okay, you can look at the list of all the bases.
Sure.
I want you to tell me whether or not it was ever destroyed, and by what methods it was destroyed.
Oh my goodness. Okay, sure.
You want to do this?
Sure, I'll play this.
Just totally
what if you're
explore the
wrong,
moment, folks.
What if you're wrong? I'm sure they'll tell us.
If you're wrong, I will tell you. I think I know.
That's fine.
Let's start with the movies.
Okay.
Of X-Men, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Was it ever destroyed, and how?
It was destroyed.
Okay, how?
I don't know.
Okay, guess.
Give me something. I'm assuming it was destroyed by another mutant.
By another mutant.
Or an assaulting force of mutants.
I'm going to give that to you because
I think it was like in Dark Phoenix. She like fucks it up or something.
No, it was in was it Days of Future Past? No, Days of Future Past? Yeah, when Havoc they are Apocalypse. It's X-Men Apocalypse. I'm reaching for this one. For X-Men Apocalypse, he comes and he takes Professor X away, and as he does, Havoc blasts him, but he disappears and he hits the engines of the flight, the plane that they have,
and
it
crashes.
Causes a chain reaction that blows up the entire school, and that's when Quicksilver comes in and saves everybody except for Havoc, because by that time the explosion has like slowly grown too much. So yes, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters did get destroyed in X-Men Apocalypse by Havoc when he had a misdirected shot.
I gotcha. Okay, so next one. Then.
All right, next one. Let's see. This should be an easy one, man. We didn't talk about this, but it was on the list. Let's talk about Stark Tower.
Stark Tower.
From the Avengers.
The Avengers.
Did it ever get destroyed? And if so, who destroyed it and how did it get destroyed? And we're saying like completely taken out.
Yeah,
not like damaged or like little things falling off, you know.
I want Stark Tower. Was it the second Avengers that it got completely destroyed? Or it stayed? Because I know they moved the Avenger facility.
Age of Ultron. They did move it.
They did move it. I'm going to say because it was destroyed. Because, yeah.
I'm going to say no.
No,
you guys can help me
destroyed?
out here. It was never fully destroyed. They just decided to move it. And you can remember in Spider-Man Homecoming, they were just moving everything off and taking it to Avengers compound because they wanted to get it out of the city. But it's still there.
It's still there? Okay.
Yeah. It's just not Avengers.
And in the first Avenger, it gets messed up. But it's not destroyed.
That is correct.
Yep. Yeah, because Loki gets like thrown around in there by Hulk a bunch.
So next one, let's see. I'm going down the. Here's one. Here's an easy one. Helm's Deep.
Helm's Deep. Technically, it's still standing by the end. Yeah, the wall gets destroyed, but it is, but it's not overrun.
It's not overrun.
Yeah, it almost is.
Yes,
but then Look to the east for my
final
coming.
charge.
Yeah,
And
the
wait
final
for me
with
at
the Riders
coming
of
the dawn.
Rohan.
Yep.
Look for me on the full deck. Yeah, so it is saved, and then at the end, that's when they decide to go forth to Minas Tirith.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Let me get one or two more here if I can remember. I don't know if you ever saw the series, but The Wall from Game of Thrones. We didn't talk about this one either.
But no, that's a good one. That's a cool idea. But no, it's.
Remember what happens?
It gets overrun by the dead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll say, like, some of you may be like, but not the whole thing got destroyed, but it became so effectively breached that it lost its purpose and its function.
There's no strategic value to it.
Yeah,
anymore.
the dead dragon comes. It's the last episode of season 7. They blows it all down. They just walk right by.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to you. It's a yes.
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 I remember the big battle scene.
Yep.
There too. Yeah.
Hogwarts? You tell me.
Hogwarts. Okay, it gets fucked up, but it's still open.
Okay.
Yeah, but like it gets real messed up, but it's not destroyed.
Okay.
But it gets really close.
More of a conversation rather than a hard and fast game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets beaten to a pup, like a pup, but it's
but
like
they survive.
It gets revived. Yeah, I mean they just have to do the little repair shit. I mean, the wizards, they can do literally anything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's literally magic. So.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
That's it.
Our
That was
game.
good.
That was our impromptu game.
Not bad for off the top of your dome. I mean, you were supposed to come with the game anyway, so I'm glad you kind of...
Right. I redeemed myself.
You redeemed
this
yourself,
was my
yeah.
redemption story, folks.
Absolutely.
My character arc.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed that impromptu game, and more or less, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and are safe within your base, lair, or hideout.
Absolutely.
Good
AKA
ending. Good
your
ending.
vehicle.
Your vehicle.
Yeah.
Pretty much your car.
Without further ado, we'll catch you on the next one, folks. Cue music.